Rich Wildman here, Music Scene Investigation, buttons, who's got the buttons? Apparently not I. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I've got the right buttons pressed right now. I hope I do, but we'll find out here in just a couple of minutes, that's for sure. Music Scene Investigation, for those of you not familiar with it, is a broadcast where we'll bring in front of our panel of experts 3 song selections as offered by indie musicians from around the world. Our experts will take review and offer their critique of that music. By the end of the broadcast, we'll have selected a song of the week, which will then go on to compete as, or for rather, the band of the month. And that happens every second Wednesday of the month. Those winners go on to compete for the Artist of the Year award. So we're certainly looking forward to that. That takes place in January. So it's a year-long event. You want to make sure you stay around for your favorite music, favorite bands, and stuff like that. Of course, if you know any indie artists out there who have not submitted music to Music Scene Investigation, tell them to go to MusicSceneInvestigation.com and click on the Submit a Song button at the top of the page where they can find out everything they need to know. It's really pretty simple. Now, before we get started and listen to some music, I want to introduce our guest to everyone. Actually, I want to start with our in-house panelists, then we'll move to our guest. It's going to be another day like those, Tommy. Tommy from New York. How are you, Tom? That's why you shouldn't smoke, I'm telling you.
Have another cigarette.
No, he just caught me by surprise. Plus, I'm fighting off, I don't know, a postseason cold, a preseason flu. I haven't slept much in the past 2-3 days. I've been woozy, dizzy. Well, not much has changed, really.
No, not much at all. We're glad you're here anyway. And I'll tell you, Tom, you're looking kind of svelte today in front of a board again, I see. You've been boardless for the last number of weeks. What happened?
Well, I went back to basics and had them refurb my 3-year-old board. It's now a brand new board, all new electronics and software and such, and hooking it up, and it was a big run around the circle, getting gear that didn't work, replacing it with gear that didn't work, and finally saying, I had a board once that used to work, so we fixed that, and that's where we are.
And now it works.
It works like a 3-wheeled bicycle.
Well, at least something works, and that's good to hear. And
shift.
Well, glad you're with us, Tom. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Hey, thanks for, keep asking me back, even though, I know secretly you hate me.
I never asked him back. He just shows up, and we put him on.
Yeah, you put me on a lot, Rich.
Well, we're glad to put you on, too, Tom. Thanks for being here, my friend.
You mean it's put on you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, whatever I mean, Ian will be sure and let me know before the end of the show. Hey, Ian, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm very well, as you should know, Rich.
Yeah, you are the mighty Thor, so you couldn't be anything else.
Have you been sitting on a hardwood chair? Is that why you're mighty Thor?
That's right. Yeah, it was. I went camping and got a bit damp.
You get excited camping?
Honestly, I don't really want to go there, but since you're taking it there anyway, I'll let you finish, Ian.
I always get excited when I go camping. It's good to be away.
I'm not going to ask what you're trying to get away from.
Life in general, Rich. Life under the stars, sunsets, alcohol, other toxins.
Toxins. It's the Kryptonian sun that really does you harm. I understand.
No, that was Superman.
Oh,
come on, get your facts straight.
I'm sorry, I've got my memes all messed up again. Ian, you have statistics for me based upon last week's show where we had Earth and Moon, Informal Gents, and M. Combs on the broadcast. Why don't you lay those stats on us and let us hear what the audience had to say?
Well, not many people chose to vote last week. I can't think why. I mean, let's face it, the music last week wasn't the greatest we've heard on MSI here, especially recently when we've had some really quality music come through the hallowed halls. But two people, I'm going to announce the actual amount of people this week that decided to vote, and even they couldn't agree. So, song number 2, Simple Youth by Informal Gents, got Best Songwriting.
That was our Song of the Week selectee.
And song 1, Breathe by Earth and Moon, got Best Mix and Production. And Best Performance goes to, drum roll, both Simple Youth and Breathe. They couldn't make their minds up. It was a split decision.
Down the middle.
Yes, people were fathomed by last week's show, as were we.
Well, it's bound to happen, and, we're just glad we could allow the audience to vote. I know on a lot of review shows, the audience never gets the opportunity, so it's good to give them a voice as well, right?
Always good to have the opinion of our viewers heard.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't always agree with us either. And a quick shout out while I'm here to Walt. Not a problem with the videos, mate. Hope you enjoy them. And for anyone else watching, go and check out my latest YouTube uploads. Ian Husbands on YouTube. Stuff from the vault.
And speaking of Walt, want to welcome him, Box O Crap, and Janae Giddens, of course, out in the chat room today. Please feel free to join us if you're watching the live broadcast in the chat room as well. If you're on MusicSceneInvestigation.com, at the bottom of the page underneath the video window, you can find a link to the chat. If you're listening on MSI Radio, at the bottom of the page, there is a link to the chat room as well. If you're on Justin TV, it's that window off to the right, which is that way from the video, to my left from the video, so you can chat there. We're happy to have you with us. Our guest panelist today is a guitarist extraordinaire, plays with the Ruts DC, among other bands. The guy is touring more than he's home today. We're welcoming him back once again to the panel, Mr. Leigh Heggarty. Leigh, welcome back, sir. Glad to have you with us again.
It's a pleasure to be here as always. Hello, everybody. And I'll begin by saying that I can't see any of you on my screen this week. I've got the logo up on the screen, but it's not the same without seeing your little faces.
Let me fix that for you. I can fix that.
Can you? I feel all lonely here.
Isolated.
Stop
I was trying not to. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, you've kind of frozen, but I can see you there. There you are.
I'm trying to move.
And there I am. We're all here now. Oh, I can see myself now. This is good.
Yeah, everything's good, and you're getting loud applause from the chat room as well. So.
Oh, that's good. That's all right.
And the monstrous headphones have made a return, Leigh.
I did look out some of these little Walkman-y, iPod-y ones, but I just thought that was being silly.
Yes.
So I've put the unfeasibly large headphones back into use.
Well, it wouldn't be you without the huge headphones. A huge intellect, huge headphones, they go hand in hand, and we're so glad that you brought both.
Size isn't everything, but yes. I think I did that gag once before, didn't I?
Yeah, we did.
Look like something from a Doctor Who episode.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
And one of their better aliens, I must admit.
Well, that's thank you very much. I can see you now. This is great. I can see everybody. I think that's. I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment.
And so you've been on tour a lot lately, which is why we have not been able to contact you. I know that you've been out of country as well as up country.
Yep.
As they say. So fill us in on what's been happening with you since last we had you on the broadcast with us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is quite a busy month for Ruts DC at the moment. Last month we played a couple of festivals. We did the Rebellion Festival up in Blackpool, which is the big kind of punk new wave festival. They do it at the Winter Gardens, and they sort of use all the venues in there. So there's a lot of bands on. There's over 100 bands, I think, over the weekend, and that was terrific. We played a very interesting festival called the Three Chord Festival down in Penzance in Cornwall. That was a long way to go for a one-off show, but we went down. That was a sort
of. Now, what is the Three Chords Festival for those who don't know?
Well, it was the first one. They subtitled it the Punk and Pasty Festival. For those of you who don't know, Cornish pasties are extremely popular in Cornwall and various other areas as well. So it was a kind of little independent festival and really good kind of feel. You know, they did that great. We headlined that, which was good as well.
Awesome.
That was great fun. This month, last night we played up in Newcastle. The night before we were in Preston, both in the kind of north of England. Last night was the North East Calling Festival at the Academy up there, where we played with the UK Subs and Sham 69. Great gig, really good fun.
It sounds to me like you've just been working your heart out and haven't had a chance to really settle down yet.
No, it's been quite. I mean, in between all of these, I do have some other bands as well, as I think we've discussed before.
You've got like 20 or 30 bands that you actually are in, I think.
Maybe not 20 or 30, but there's quite a few. I've been working a lot with the best band name of them all, Big Al Reed and the Blistering Buicks, which is a band playing in our area. And that's great fun. That's like kind of rock and roll and sort of country rock, which is good fun. I've got my own band, the Uppercut. They've been doing a fair bit.
Now, I got to tell you, before we go on, Ian and Tom are both making fun of the word pasties, because here in the States, now I got to admit this, here in the States, pasties have a totally different meaning than what they do in the UK. They're very popular here in the States as well, mostly along the locations that have strip clubs and dance clubs, but yes, very, very popular.
Oh, that's interesting.
To start with, I'm not making fun. I was correcting Tom on the spelling. Oh,
hello.
And there's nothing like a good pasty. You know, this pasty, you know, has been around for years. They used to basically make one side meat and vegetables, the other side was your dessert. It was blocked in the middle with a bit of pastry, and they used to send people down the mines. Our nation was built on pasties.
Our nation as well was built on pasties. So, just to play fair and give the information out, yeah. I have no idea what I'm saying here. I'm just making it up as I go. But, all right, so festivals out the yazoo, it sounds like, Leigh. Are you going to slow down for the fall, or do you have a lot more on the way that people can look forward to finding you at?
Ruts DC have got quite a bit coming up now. We're going up to Germany for 4 shows this month, and then we go up to Scotland for 3. I think we've got up there, and then in the autumn we're touring with the Damned all over Great Britain. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And so if people want to go out and grab tickets to some of these festivals, do you have links out there on your website? And
absolutely, yeah. The ruts.co.uk has got everything on it, or you can find it through my blog. Or there's links to all of this out there, and the Damned, of course, on the Damned's website. There's all the details, I think, on there now.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's good.
Definitely looking forward to that. And
it's going to be great. The London show's the Roundhouse, which I've always wanted to play at.
Now, if you can, if I can talk Ian into doing it, I'd love to get him out to one of your shows so he could take video of it.
I keep asking him when he's available, and he's never in London. When he is in London, he's been told that he's got no guest passes. He can't look after me.
We're in Reading next week, if that's any good to you.
You did mention Reading, actually, yes. When's that?
Reading, Pennsylvania?
Friday, it's Friday the 13th. I'm really looking forward to that. Friday the 13th.
Ian, I won't hold you to a Friday the 13th date, I know. And, yeah.
I'm too busy locking myself in a cage.
I understand. And I'm the same way, by the way, so it is what it is.
It's not so I can't get out, it's so the kids can't get in.
I just don't understand, Leigh, why you would play on a Friday the 13th.
it's always really easy to get a gig on Friday the 13th. No one ever wants to play on Friday the 13th. So we're doing Friday the 13th this month, and the aforementioned Roundhouse date with the Damned is Friday the 13th of December. So
wow.
There you go. So we like them.
That's really kind of an amazing thing. And, you know, keep up being busy, because being busy is where it's at. There is nothing wrong with that. And I find that's one of the things that you know, I like most about you, is because you're always out there doing what it is you love to do. And I think that's a great thing.
Well, that's nice of you to say. I think speaking personally, I find I still enjoy playing the guitar. And as I said before on here, I'm very lucky to be able to do it. And if the more you play, the more you can play. I think so anyway. So it's whether it's a thing like last night in front of 1,000 people or a little pub gig, they're all good. They're all good if you have the right sort of approach and the right kind of attitude towards them, then they're all good. They should all be fun.
And I think that,
but also it keeps you playing. That's the thing. It keeps your fingers going. Keeps you thinking about music. You know, that's.
And I think that's something that indie musicians should take to heart.
Yeah, I think most musicians do in a way. They have different ways of showing it. You know, you don't always make a great deal of money. You don't always get a particularly easy life. Sometimes being a musician, it can be quite hard. It's not hard like digging a hole or something. That's like a proper job, you know. And this is quite sort of a different type of thing. But I think provided you go, as I say, you go with the right attitude and you want to enjoy playing, you can. And,
now, Ian, I think there's a T-shirt in there. It's not hard like digging a hole. Use that in some kind of slogan, I think. You know, I think that would be great. And Leigh, as always, we are thankful for you sitting in on the panel today, and certainly hope you enjoy yourself as we listen to some very interesting music on today's broadcast. And with that, I would like to, if it's all right with everybody on the panel, get started today and take a listen to track number 1 on today's MSI. So here it is, everybody. This is track number 1 on today's broadcast. Enjoy it. That is song number 1 on today's music scene investigation. We're going to head over to Mr. Ian Husbands, find out what he thinks about it. Ian, track number 1 to you first.
Right. Okay, let's start. I mean, overall, there's some nice parts going on here, and then there's some bad stuff going on here as well. I mean, it sounds like a guitarist with guitar synths or something like that, who's playing all the parts just with different sounds, for out-of-the-box sounds from a synth of some kind, maybe a MIDI guitar or something like that. And, you know, there are some nice parts. I mean, the mix overall is quite nice. I like the tone of the clean, picky guitars. Nice stereo pair there. The bass tone's quite nice. The drums sound nice. But there's no real groove to the backing track. And we had this discussion last week about another sort of track. It was a guitar solo sort of thing. And, you know, the backing track's got to move. The backing track's got to have some dynamic to allow whoever's soloing to add that into their performance as well. Otherwise, it becomes very static and very stale. And this is what this did for me very quickly. There's just no groove to it. And you're just playing over 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, repetitive. The same little rhythm picky part going through all the time, getting very repetitive. And then you've got all these different instruments coming in, sometimes with no real rhyme or reason or return. They just appear and then they disappear. And it really it's more like someone trying to, look, I've got a new pedal. It can do this. It can also do this, this, and this. And I'm going to record it all and show what my guitar pedal can do. It's all very safe. There's some nice stuff going on. There's some not nice stuff going on. Performance-wise, I think, again, backing track had no groove. And I think because of that, the lead guitarist, whoever that was, became very stale and just stuck to that 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern, and could have played better. I think you could have heard a lot better out of this guy. He can obviously play. There's obviously some good ideas there, but not fulfilled for me at all.
All right, Ian, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Tom Chianti we go. Tom, track 1 to you.
I agree with a lot of what Ian said. Yeah, it did, you know, like it cycled twice and then the guitar solo came in. The guitar should have been playing a lot earlier, the lead sound. It was a nice sound, you know. The saxes are definitely out of the box. And just the notes, the parts that they were playing were made very staccato because of that. You know, you can mess with the attack on the sound, the sample, and give it some life a little bit by letting it lead in. That would have made that more interesting. I didn't like the drum sounds. They were a little bit too roomy for me. Even though they were probably all sampled in MIDI. And again, like Ian said, there wasn't enough fulfillment of a drive to really sustain the simplistic arrangement. And yeah, every 8 bars something new came in and went away, and then another 8 bars something new came in. Couple of nice sounds, couple of good ideas. I liked the way he played his solo. That last part where it broke down, I think they could have done right with that and brought the guitar solo in a lot earlier and cut, 30, 40 seconds off. It would have gotten, I think that would have made it a little bit more listenable. Overall, just the guitarist. I got a brand new synthesizer, like Ian said. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. And it's not as bad as the track last week where the guitarist was just playing to play. There was some thought going on here, but it's got to be further developed. It needs more drive, more percussion, more interesting parts that are interweaved. It's layered nicely, but the layers are static. It's like a library stack of books. And a little too neat, a little too safe.
All right, Tommy. Thank you very much, sir. Over to Mr. Leigh Heggarty with the Ruts DC. Leigh, how do you think? You like it or not?
Well, I've written here in my Yeah, that was a well. In my crazed scribble here, I've written something that I still can't quite read, but I think what I was trying to write was, it sounds like a piece of music you've written to test your home recording equipment. That isn't the. That's not intended to be an insult in the sense that it may have sounded, but it definitely, about halfway through, I thought, yes, they're trying out this sound, they're trying out that sound. Okay, right, I've got this all worked out. I understand this one now. And then when that sustained guitar came in at the end, I actually thought that was a really nice guitar sound, which kind of threw me a bit. Yes, to take Tom's point, it was a bit laboured. It went on, the sections went on too long for me. I quite liked about halfway through, about 2 minutes into it, I realised that they hadn't repeated any bit of music up until that point. And it's maybe a lofty comparison, but for some reason I wrote down Frank Zappa, Peaches and Regalia, which was a bit of a favourite of mine, which doesn't repeat until the fade out. There's no kind of, there's a different piece of music at every juncture in that, as you probably know if you know the piece. And I kind of liked that, and then they repeated a bit, and it kind of ruined it a bit for me. And that's where I was thinking they should, if they were going to have something that didn't kind of play the game, it shouldn't have played the game at all. It should have just all been different sections. And yes, I'd have bought that sustained guitar solo earlier because I thought it was really good. That said, I thought, Ian said good bits, bad bits. Yeah, the fact that it was as I say, almost like a kind of test piece in my mind, meant that in places there were some really interesting combinations of sounds, quite haunting, some of the sounds in it, which I quite liked, little echoey bits. Yeah, the drum sound was a little bit strange. It didn't really fit the rest of the track for me. I like the kind of tom-tom tribally bit at the start, and then it kind of went into a fairly straightforward rhythm, and I thought, oh, that's a bit of a shame. Definitely some nice guitar things going on. Yes, that was a saxophone sound to conjure with as well. But no great feelings either way on that one, but some nice moments.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Lee. Let me take the opportunity to introduce that track to everyone. The name of that track is called Lonely Generation, and that is brought by Hengrin. We appreciate Hengrin sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. Thank you very much. And we've got 2 more tracks to listen to. Let's get right to track number 2 on today's Music Scene Investigation. This is track number 2, everybody. Enjoy.
Twilight can leave you lonely in a dark and empty sky. I'm not afraid. Fantasies aren't meant to be, they spin through a twisted haze, grounding my thoughts and memories of you. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me held back till I'm with you. Twilight can be a miracle, like a shooting star headed for a harvest moon. Reality cries at the midnight hour. You've got to build your walls, protect your soul and heart from breaking down. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me held back till I'm with you. Twilight in perfect clarity, Why can't I see a state of being clear? Round and round confusion rings, I need to look out far ahead. Bring me to the place I was before. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me held back till I'm with you. Twilight, turn back those hands of time. When I kept myself from use or caving in, I'm saying I have no regrets wanting you then, I want you now. I want to look beside and find you there. One foot in the water and the other on the shore. Will there be a time when I'm with you? One foot in the water and the other on the shore. Will there be a time when I'm with you?
Song number 2 on today's music scene investigation. We're going to head over to Mr. Tom Chianti first, find out what he thinks. Tom, what are your thoughts on this particular track?
Very mixed. I think she has a very nice voice. They have a nice vocal effect on it. But I was completely distracted by the constant 1, 2, 3, 4 change, 1, 2, 3, 4 change of the guitar. It seems like every 4 they went to a chord, whether they needed to or not. Definitely needed a bass sound, more background. The beginning of a good hook, Twilight, keeps coming back to mind. So that's the catchy part about it, I guess, is good. But yeah, it's not quite a blank slate, but there's a lot more that could and should be done with this. A solo violin, very simplistic, some percussion or drums, definitely, a cello or upright bass or some type of contrabass or something to distract from the repetitiveness of repetitiveness. Yes, repetitiveness. Let me say that again. The repetitiveness.
That was repetitive.
I didn't want to be redundant, but the repetitiveness. Well, I'll get it right one time. Of the guitar chord changing and stuff. It was melodic, but the guitar was very distracting, and it just really needed some more development and production. And then I could have a better grip on what it's all about. And she sang with good emotion, laid back, little moody, and lyrically, like I said, Twilight, and that I remember that part is a good thing, I guess. But that is offset by, I also remember jung jung junga junga jung jung junga junga jung jung junga junga jung jung junga junga jung jung jung, just constantly repetitiveness.
Would you mind repeating any of that, Tom?
Sure, to start with.
No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much. Over to Mr. Leigh Heggarty we go. Leigh, what do you think of track number 2?
Okay, it's I agree with much of Tom's thoughts there, in that it sounded like a really good idea for a song that wasn't quite realised for me. Really nice vocal, certainly sounded good in my headphones. Big headphones, but it sounded good in the big headphones. I quite like the guitar sound. That sounded nice, but lyrics were a bit wordy for me in places. But there was a bit of emotion in there, which was great, you know. By about the fourth verse, though, it was all sounding a bit one-dimensional. I felt it needed a middle 8 or a middle 16 or a middle something. And, yeah, please, some drums or something to move it along a little bit. Definitely agree with the idea of stringed instruments, bowed instruments, whatever, would have sounded lovely on there. As I say, just a shame, not quite realised, that one. Nice ideas, lots going for it. But just didn't quite happen. A shame, because as I say, I really liked the idea. I liked the first verse. I thought, oh yeah, this is going to build up a bit, or something's going to happen here, and it didn't quite happen, which was a shame, because, as I say, a nice idea. But yeah.
All right,
Lee?
Yeah,
Is
go
it
ahead.
a shame?
What's that, Tommy? Go ahead, say again.
I didn't want to repeat it, but is it a not quite realized idea? A shame?
Yeah. I found that a bit of a shame. Yeah, I thought it was, as I say, it didn't quite sound.
Did you notice the guitar's tuning in the beginning sounded a little weird?
I couldn't decide whether it was an effect on it or that there was something not quite right there. Yes. But,
all right.
Something,
well, I appreciate your thoughts,
like
Lee.
thing or something.
Yep. Thank you very much. Let's find out what Ian thinks. Ian?
Right. Yes, there's mixed issues. Yes, there's problems. This is a songwriter. This is someone who can play a few chords on the guitar. Not great. If they go out and live, they should be getting a guitarist to go with them and not relying on their own abilities. But the voice, I really do like. It captivated me. I mean, you know, the intro came in, it was acoustic guitars with heavy reverbs on, and they were very distant. They weren't quite matching up, and they were twanging all over the place. And there was an issue with the tuning. I think that was more down to the playing, the strings being pressed down properly on frets and things like that. That was probably more of an issue. There's a good song here. I do think that her voice is stellar. I would like to have heard her do more. I think she can go further. She can push her vocal, and you know, with this song, if it built correctly, you could really make something of it. And to me, I mean, I'm working on a sort of folky project at the moment, and this song to me was crying out for a sort of folk arrangement. It needs, you know, it needs mandolins in there, it needs bodrums in there, it needs a harp in there. You know, as Tom said, some deep sort of strings like cellos and contrabasses and stuff like that as well, just to sort of bring out the bottom end of the whole thing. You know, there is a strong idea here that needs a good producer and a good group of musicians to back it. Yeah, the hook needs to be developed. It's there, but it's not quite strong enough. And a middle 8, something like that, would really help the song. But shouldn't be hard. I mean, it sounds like the songwriting side of this and the singing side of this is strong. And I think, you know, well developed with a good team of people, this could be quite a good song.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts, Ian. Thank you very much. The name of this track, for everybody's information, is called Twilight. It's by Teddi Vial. We appreciate Teddi sending that song into MSI, Music Scene Investigation. And want to remind everybody that on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, you'll be able to hear our very own friend out there, the Indie Music Bus's own Walter Hargrave, out on Twitter Tuesday Live. Yeah, he's going to be the guest over at Butterflies Radio on Twitter Tuesday Live this Tuesday. So, Walter, I've got my eye on you, buddy, and my ear, too, because I'll be listening into the show then and looking forward to it. So, hopefully, you'll have a good time on there. I'm sure you will. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, gentlemen, we have one more song to go. I want to get your take on it as well. So, this is song number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Everybody, I hope you enjoy this track as well. That is song number 3 on today's music scene investigation. We're going to go straight to the man himself, Mr. Leigh Heggarty, find out what his thoughts are. Lee, what do you take from song number 3?
Oh, well, what did I think of that? Well, I like that kind of toy piano intro. I was thinking this could be quite a fascinating vocal about to come in here over that. There is no vocal. Oh, it's another instrumental. It took me a while to decide that it was an instrumental, actually. I kept thinking it might just be a very long introduction. Stark contrast to the first instrumental that we heard tonight. Much more kind of epic feel, which I sort of quite liked, actually. I sort of liked this more than I thought I would about halfway through. By the end, I'd actually written that I liked the mixture of sounds on it. Particularly like that 70s sounding synth in the middle that came in. That was a throwback to other times. The speedy guitar part was quite unexpected. I've written next to it here. It was quite unexpected. Wasn't really expecting that at all. Hence I wrote the word unexpected. Big dramatic stuff. I'm trying not to say what was the point of it all, which is a bit of a horrible thing to say, really, because I know how hard it is to write music, but I can't. That's kind of what I'm left with here. It was a bit too background music-y for me, a bit too kind of Muzak-y almost, which is a terrible, awful thing to say because someone's worked very hard on this. That is evident just from the one listen. There's a lot of work gone into this, but it's not really my type of thing, so I don't feel as though I'm very qualified to be able to comment too much on it. So I think I'll stop there before I get into trouble.
All right. I appreciate your comments on it anyway, Lee. Thank you very much.
I'm sure the composer doesn't, but I feel quite bad about saying that.
Well, honesty is the best policy.
Just
over to Ian Husbands. Ian, what do you think of track number 3?
Do you know what? I didn't write anything on this.
I noticed this.
Yeah, I mean, to start, the first thing that jumped out at me was a GarageBand loop that I've actually used on a track in the past, in the intro on the piano. Slowed right down compared to how I'd used it, but it was obvious it was there. And kind of that set the pace of the track for me, really. I don't mean that to be in a nasty way. But, you know, as a composition, there is some good stuff going on here. From the point of view of someone who's arranged sounds together, I think the mix was strong. I think the production was good. I like the way the track built. It had a certain epic drama to it. And I think someone put in the chat, it sounds like the intro to a Dragons movie, Dungeons and Dragons type movie or something like that. This is probably going to do well on some game or something like that, a Facebook game or, something even bigger maybe as the titles, because everything's sitting there that works. If you had credits running over that, if you had an animation running over that told you the story of the computer game that you were watching, it wouldn't be out of place. So I think from the point of view of what it is, this is a very strong piece of library music that could be used in the game industry, maybe independent film, something like that. And, it's well arranged, it's well composed, it's well put together. I mean, who's played the parts and what is live and what is loop, I'm not going to question. But, you can't fault there is a strong piece of composition here that in its market will probably go quite well.
All right, Ian, thank you. Over to Mr. Tom Chianti to get his take on track number 3. Tom?
Well, I think the people who did track number 3 definitely should talk to the people who did track number 1 and 2. This person has a lot of good production ideas. The mix was okay. I did get the visualization of, very old England. Could have been around Dragon Slayer years. Ian is very right about, a film. Library piece, credits at the end, intro, countryside rolling by. I do get the idea of what Lee was meant, where he sort of cautiously said, what is the point of it? And as a composition, it doesn't really say much. It needs an additional layer of film. It needs a visualization. And as such, like that, I find that I liked it less. I mean, I did visualize with it. There are some great parts. Unlike Leigh, I thought that 70s synth sound was a little too harsh, a little too big in the mix. Maybe a different sound, or maybe just tucked better. I don't know. A little too effecty, but for the type of genre it is, it's normal. Again, I'm drawn back to it's not really making a strong statement. It's leaving itself open to visual interpretations. And like Ian said, for the game industry or rolling credits and stuff like that. But I really am not kidding when I said whoever's done this has got some good production chops and how to make pieces work together and layer them and stuff. I did think that I do agree with everyone. It's got that epic type of feel. I wish the epicness came in earlier. It was a little shorter. I really liked the ending where everything was building and the interesting use of the marching snare. Overall, I'm left with a good impression, but somewhat questioning the direction of the composition as to what statement did it make. And, you know, there's definitely a use for it. It's definitely placeable. But again, as a piece of popular music, not really good.
All right, Tommy, thank you very much. And the name of that track, for everybody's information, it's called The End of the Dream, and it's by TnT Production. We appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation. Thank you very much, guys. And now over to our panel, who must do their diligent duty of selecting a song of the week. So, gentlemen, I'll leave it to you to talk it out amongst yourselves and let me know what you think. What's your selection for the song of the week?
Right, I'm going to steam straight in. I'm going to go quite simply for number 2. Now, yes, a lot of issues. I really like number 3. I really think it's got a strong place in its market, and I think the guy should be doing more of this stuff and getting some library work. But I'm looking for an artist, really, and I think number 2, despite its lack of instrumental ability, the voice is there, the songwriting's there, the melodies are there, and I want to encourage that. So I'm going to go for track number 2.
All right, Ian, thank you. Leigh, Tom?
Leigh, next. Yeah, next. That's definitely the one I was going to go for. Yes, I said it. I didn't think it was fully realised, but the ideas that were there were you know, a lot of promise being shown. As I say, personally, I didn't get number 3. I don't know much about the gaming industry. I've seen a film. I know what the music's like in films a bit. And yes, it fits in with all of those thoughts. And number 1, it did just end up sounding like a demo thing for like an equipment test, which a good equipment test, but an equipment test nevertheless. So yes, it's number 2. Great vocal, a kind of half to 2/3 written song, maybe, but the idea is a good one. So yes, number 2.
All right, and Tommy?
You know, just because I'm part producer and I really like the production on number 3, I really would like to vote for number 3, but again, you know, song of the week, best song, and as a song and as a standalone composition, number 2, I have to agree with what everyone says. It's a great vocal. I don't think any one of us could argue against that. And I just believe that it's definitely got its drawbacks, but they're all workable. And number 3 is too specific for, like I said, a film. And not really in popular music genre. So number 2 for me.
All right, there you have it, unanimous. Song number 2, called Twilight from Teddi Vial, is the song of the week. And we also want to hear what you out in the audience think, whether or not you agree with our panel. Make your vote heard. Head over to the witness page. It's musicsceneinvestigation.com/witness. Let us know what your thoughts are. Gentlemen, appreciate your time on the panel as always. Leigh, a big thanks to you for being with us. I know you're a busy man and we pulled you away from your regular schedule, but thank you.
Great pleasure as always. And yeah, sorry, I think I'm probably out of the game a bit tonight. It was a long journey home today. Only just got in kind of an hour or so before the show. So
I think you did quite well.
Shit.
Well, you have very. I think that this is a gentle swing back into our upward motion, coming full circle after last week's faux pas. So
I didn't see that show. I'm gonna have to watch that show.
It would be an interesting show for you to watch and see us all freak out.
That's just what I'm looking for, lads. That's great.
Well, we appreciate you being here with us, Leigh, and hope to have you back with us again soon. I know your schedule is up in the air, but we'll be watching and keeping in touch with you.
There's always a time. Thanks for inviting me back again.
Thank you so very much. Again, thanks to everyone out in our audience for being here too. Tom, Ian, thank you as well.
Always a pleasure.
We're going to play out with Twilight by Teddi Vial right now as soon as I throw the microphone over to Ian and he tells me who's going to be joining us next week. Ian?
We have a new guest with us next week. It's a friend of mine, Nick Andrew, who is a bit of a guitar virtuoso, as well as recording his own album with Zipper Tongue and various other stuff that he's done and is doing. So, including his book, which is interesting. Look forward to that one.
All right. Definitely looking forward to it. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll see you again next time right here on Music Scene Investigation. Thanks for being with us. Here is that song you love, Twilight by Teddi Vial.
Be repetitive. Goodbye.
Bye.
Twilight can leave you lonely in a dark and empty sky. I'm not afraid. Fantasies aren't meant to be, they spin through a twisted haze, grounding my thoughts and memories of you. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me held back till I'm with you. Twilight can be a miracle, like a shooting star ready for a harvest moon. Reality cries at the midnight hour. You've got to build your walls, protect your soul and heart from breaking down. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me held back till I'm with you. Twilight in perfect clarity, why can't I see a state of being clear? Round and round confusion rings, I need to look out far ahead. Bring me to the place I was before. One foot in the water and the other on the shore, keeping me till I'm with you. Twilight, turn back those hands of time. When I get myself from use or caving in, I'm saying I have no regrets wanting you, then I want you now. I want to look beside and find you there. One foot in the water and the other on the shore. Will there be a time when I'm with you? One foot in the water and the other on the shore. Will there be a time